let's start off with a Tottenham update. And we're going to first talk about Pape Matar Sarr. Thomas Frank confirming that Pape Matar Sarr only missed out against Doncaster with a precaution. Obviously, he missed out on the weekend against Brighton as well. He was on the bench for that one, didn't get any minutes, and he wasn't involved in the squad at all against Doncaster yesterday. Obviously, putting a lot of Tottenham fans' fears on alert, saying, is he injured? Is there a problem there? He said he felt some tightness in his thigh. And he was left out with a precaution, and there's a good chance he will be available on the weekend. So that's really good news, that it's not anything serious, it's not a big injury, and it had a lot of fans worried yesterday because there was no need to rest him when he didn't play at all on the weekend, was there? So I think a lot of people saw him not being in the squad saying it can't be him resting Sarr, can it? Because he didn't play at all, so how can he be rested? But seems as though there is a little niggle, but it should be okay for Saturday.
You know what? Fair play. It's so refreshing to know that we have some quality in depth now, and we're not rushing players back like we have done in previous years with so many players that if they've been rushed back or if they have a little twinge, they sometimes come on and play through it. It's a lovely situation to have now that there is quality and the manager trusts them. It's not such a huge drop-off. And we've spoken often about the midfield and how they've been improving, haven't they? So to have that concern and be able to say, Sarr, listen, you've been playing brilliant, we can't risk it. Just take a little time out and come back stronger rather than aggravating it or damaging it. So it is very good news to hear. And Spurs have been fortunate enough to be able to say, listen, just step away.
And it's crazy to think as well, all our midfield players are in such good form.
Yeah.
They're all playing well. If you're thinking about, it's a bit of a weird situation that we're in because you've got Paulinho, Bentancur, Sarr, Bergvall, and obviously Xavi's just come in. All battling pretty much. If Xavi's seen as number 10, which, obviously we think he is, they're all, and Gray as well, who came in yesterday and played brilliantly. So they're all battling for 3 spots in the team. Now, if you're going on form, who do you go with? Well, I mean, if you're just going on form, you don't really know who to choose on the weekend.
Exactly, and you also got to remember, in a couple of months, Kulusevski will be into that mix. So the options become even stronger for Thomas Frank. So it is a great position to be in, isn't it? To say, right, which 3 do actually start? I think Paulinho is obviously, when it comes to the 6, that's now down. But everyone else has actually done a very, very decent job. And maybe just keeping them fresh and rotating. Obviously, we want to see a solid 3 at some point. But it's a wonderful thing to be doing, to be able to rotate them heavily. And they're still chomping at the bit to play. And when they come on, they're doing the job.
Yeah, but in previous seasons, it's like there are certain players, especially in the midfield where you feel like if they're fit, they play.
Kulusevski's one of them.
Like them, Kulusevski. There's been a few players, Maddison being one of them. Just like there's a few players who've been in the squad in that midfield where we've had a very clear first choice midfield, and if a certain player is fit, he has to be in the starting 11. At the moment, it's like Frank can now give himself the luxury of thinking a bit more tactically and thinking a bit more the right player for the right game. Because when you're saying if you've got the mentality, I'm only picking players based on form and based on who deserves a spot, you wouldn't be able to call it right now because Bergvall is playing brilliantly. Sarr has almost been undroppable this season. Paulinho has obviously been fantastic since coming in. Bentancur's had a really good start to the season. Gray just came in against Doncaster, had a really good game. Simmons, obviously a new signing, but he's come in against Brighton, was brilliant. And he obviously shows that creativity that we're lacking. So I'm looking at it like thinking, what is our best choice midfield? If I'm just picking, forget what our best choice, if I'm picking it, like let's say the weekend, Frank's going, okay, who deserves a spot? I don't know who deserves it. They all deserve it. That's the thing. They all deserve to be starting. So, it's a great problem to have, but it means as well he can kind of just pick what the best midfield is for that game rather than just going on form. Because sometimes we have weird discussions in the fan base sometimes where he'll pick a 11 or a team based on form, based on who deserves the spot, but sometimes that's not necessarily the best fit for those games. But right now, because in that midfield area everyone's playing so well, he can kind of just pick and choose at the moment anyway what's the best fit for what game, and that's a great thing to have.
Yeah, I mean, also I'd like to think that I don't even think Thomas Frank knows what his best three is. I think it's still so early in his tenure that he's trying to work things out and see which one gives him. But like you said, he does think very tactically and about what the opponent can offer and how he can nullify their threat. For instance, I don't want to see Paulinho and Bentancur together against Wolves, because I think we could be a bit more offensive. So we'll wait and see. But if he does that, he does that. But like you said, having 5 midfielders currently going for 3 positions and all staking their claim, and if you see a midfield 3, you'd understand why that midfield 3 was picked on form. I can't remember when we've been in this position.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Next up, we're going to be talking about Mathis Tel, and Thomas Frank gave a public backing to Mathis Tel yesterday in his press conference. A lot of people, obviously, kind of digging into Tel after what was... look, let's be honest, yesterday was a big opportunity for him, because Doncaster in the Carabao Cup, knowing that Tel obviously isn't in the Champions League squad, these are the games he kind of needs to really grab by the scruff of the neck. And everyone was kind of... A lot of people, anyway, were looking at this game saying, okay, he's getting an opportunity to start. He had 85 minutes yesterday. He's got to, get a goal. He's got to show a lot of improvement, because people have been unimpressed with some of his performances in the Premier League. Obviously, we know he didn't score yesterday. He had 2 air shots as well, where he could have had a couple of really good moments. So he did come in for quite a bit of criticism yesterday in the fan show. Everyone who was asked, anyone who didn't impress, pretty much everyone said Tel, didn't they? But Frank says, I don't think he has had a bad ride. If I'm honest, he played striker against West Ham, which I think he did quite well. Worked very hard for him to arrive in the right areas, which I think he did today in terms of performance. That was a step up. Then we can look at the end product, to score the goal. But the performance to arrive in the box, I was very happy with. Just close with the first ball from Brennan, ready for the cutback. Second half, got in there on 2 other good occasions and had a nice shot. I think it was a step up in terms of performance. Now, do you think Frank saying these things, saying yesterday's performance was a step up, do you think he's just trying to show a public kind of support for Tel, who's obviously going through a bit of a tough time right now, having been left out of the Champions League squad? Maybe confidence is a bit low, and there is obviously a talented player in there, and it's obviously his job to get that out of him. So is he just trying to give him some public support, or do you actually think he has a case to say maybe yesterday it was a step up in terms of against West Ham? I don't remember him having too many moments where he was getting close to lead scoring or anything. At least in this one, he was getting in the right positions. I guess Frank was saying. So
I looked at it, and as I said yesterday, I think some of the things he did without scoring, like his hold-up play, running out with the ball from defensive areas, being back for set pieces, I think he did that well. But the reason he is at Tottenham is to create and score goals. And those opportunities, it was a big opportunity for him last night, and he failed to take it. What Frank was saying about being in the positions, it's what Alan Shearer used to say, isn't it? Alan Shearer used to say, if you're in bad form, it's not about... if you are available and trying to take these chances and you're in the right place, that's one thing, and that's a positive thing. But if you go hiding and shy away from it, then obviously the confidence is really, really poor. I think it's 6 and 1 and half a dozen the other. He's not going to come out and start verbally attacking players or putting them down this early, or maybe that's not his mantra the whole time. He does need to improve forward and get in the goals and assists. You mentioned the Champions League admission may have hit his confidence. Maybe that penalty miss against PSG
as well
has also had a knock-on effect. But I only went to one game last season, and it was with Ben, and I went to the Wolves game that we lost 4-2. And I kept saying this. In the first half, his movement on the left side was exquisite. Spurs just couldn't find him. They kept going backwards, inside and wide to Johnson. But obviously that means nothing when you can't see it, or it has no impact. So I believe he's got the movement, everything to go there. he is so low on confidence. He needs something.
But you see some of his finishes for the under-21s.
Yep.
The guy can clearly finish.
Yep.
The guy's clearly got an incredible strike on him. So you don't have that kind of repertoire of finishes that we're seeing on international level, and obviously we've seen as well for Bayern Munich. If you see some of the goals he was scoring for them, outside of the box, curling it into the far corner, like beautiful shots, beautiful finishes. Him missing the ball is not yesterday, and that I think one of the callers said it. It's not a quality issue, because we know he's got the quality, because we've seen it. You don't have that level of finishing on you where you can just bend it with one touch from the edge of the area right into the corner with the keeper, getting nowhere near it. He hasn't done that just once. He's done that, I think, in the last 2 international breaks. He's done it 2 or 3 times, right? So clearly, he's got incredible finishing ability. But for Tottenham, we just haven't. First of all, I don't think we've seen him in those areas too much, which maybe is what Frank is talking about. And things just haven't gone right for him in front of goal, especially this season at the start. It must be hard for him as well, because he obviously decided, I think we signed him, July?
I believe so, yeah.
Or June, or quite quickly after the season ended. We made a decision, we're going to stump up that money for you, 30 million. He's a 20-year-old player who obviously wanted to leave Bayern to further his career, get game time, right? And he's decided to commit his long-term future to Tottenham. He then comes here, and within the first month of just signing committing your long-term future, right, you're left out of the Champions League squad. So however your mentality is as a young player, and however strong-willed you are, which I'm sure he is, there's got to be a little bit of you in the back of your mind doubting whether you made the right decision to come here, because you've come here because you've been told, look, we believe in you. You're a young player. You're leaving Bayern, a massive club, to come here because you want to play and show what you're capable of, right? Albeit last season he didn't, maybe, but for there's a lot of reasons why maybe that happened. You then come here and commit your long-term future. Right at the start of it, you've just signed a 5-year deal, and they've just left you at the Champions League squad. So there's got to be a little bit of him thinking, shit, have I made the right decision? Because do they actually believe in me as much as they say they do? Because they've just left me out of the Champions League squad. So, that means my game time's already going to be limited before we even start. So I kind of feel for him. Obviously, I'm sure the club have reassured him, it's nothing to do with you, or, it's nothing to do with your quality, all this kind of stuff. So, look, at the end of the day, it's obviously down to him to knuckle down and prove Tottenham wrong and prove Frank wrong for leaving him out, and show Frank it was a mistake and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes there's something subconsciously just there, and until that's kind of dissipated, I wonder if it's that feeling is lingering in his mind.
Well, I would hope someone like Jed Spence puts his arm around him, because Jed Spence would have felt exactly the same with the Europa League last season, and then obviously he played an absolute blinder and forced his way back into the squad, and the rest is history. You would hope it would give him something. It would have hurt him immediately, but you'd hope he'd be like, right, I'll show you. And like you said, make a huge impact, or try to make as big of an impact as he could between now and January, when they can change the squad and submit new people. But he looks like he's a pure confidence player, doesn't he? Obviously, like you said, when he's in France, he feels more. He's with the people that he's played with. He's more exactly. And let's just hope, because like you, I do think there is something there in him. I do think there is something there, but it's finding the key position and getting him into those positions and playing, maybe off a Solanke. Maybe with a Solanke, when he's knocking balls down aerially, he can get on the end of them. We'll see something different, but he needs to improve, and hopefully that will happen at some point.
I mean, people will think I'm crazy for saying it, but I really think out of all our left-wing options, I genuinely think he's got the most talent. I really do. And what I see him do, I know it's only under 21s, but what I see him do when it comes to those finishes he's capable of, I don't see even Johnson or Odegaard capable of that level of finishing consistently, from difficult angles, and the ability to just get shots off in difficult positions and get really good finishes. So we just need to bring that out of him. We need to facilitate that. And you know what? We had the perfect manager for it in Frank. If anyone knows how to get the best out of forwards, it's him. So it's just about getting that out of him. But right now, it's a bit of a struggle. And also, I don't think it's helping him playing up front, like in right now. I actually think his long-term future might be there, but I think right now, at 20 years of age, where he is in his career, I don't see him as a striker like out-muscling other centre-backs and things like that. He's physically not there to, I think, be a Premier League striker. I think right now he's a winger, but I think maybe down the line, once, you know, he's grows up a bit and is able to really battle with centre-backs and win duels and stuff, then I think he can become a striker.
Well, the thing you got to look at, Sim, as well, is I think, and I don't know how you feel, in January I see Tottenham going out and getting the left winger they wanted in the summer, or whoever their Frank's number one target is. So that makes it even harder for him.
Yeah.
So, is his position more like what I thought it was going to be, more centrally off a striker, or are we going to try and make him a left winger? Because if we sign that left winger in January, whoever it may be, for Frank's number one pick,
probably have to go on loan
then then you're looking at, there's Odebear, there's Johnson, there's Kulusevski, who he can go there. There's going to be a lot of competition for places come January.
I'll be shocked if we need to sign a winger in January.
You reckon? I reckon we will.
It depends. Obviously, right, if let's say the window opened tomorrow, there's clearly a hole on that left-hand side, and maybe we would be seriously interested. But come January's a long way away. A lot can change. You know, what if Odebear and Tel start playing between now and January? Then we're not going to sign one, are we? You know what I mean? So nothing's guaranteed. It's a long way in football. 4-5 months. Maybe come then we found a solution, and
maybe
there's a good chance that happens. I would say.
I think Spurs do go. I mean, I agree with what you say, that things could change and the players could start playing well in there. But I think we didn't get a left winger in because the one Frank wanted we couldn't get done in time, or couldn't get it sorted because we left it too late. I think very early we go out and get a left winger in the window. As it stands now, that's what I think. Yeah,
that's probably the plan at the moment. Next up, we're going to be talking about Sonny. And he has been talking to a publication out in Korea about his exit from Spurs. And he says, Tottenham holds the most memories for me. Over the past 10 years, many joyful and happy moments have passed by. It was a complex feeling that's difficult to express in words, but I wanted to leave only joyful and happy memories for my teammates. I don't know if there ever will be a chance, but I personally hope to have the opportunity to say goodbye at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And I think that's what everyone wants, isn't it? Because he left he left basically without a chance of saying goodbye. Obviously, he had a big send-off in Korea.
Yep.
But for the Tottenham fans back at home in England, who have obviously, supported him for so many years and probably want opportunity, it is a shame that he kind of left as quickly as he did from that point of view and didn't get a chance to get a really a great send-off from the fans back at home. I think I spoke to a lot of Korean fans out there, and they all said they wish he could buy a good send-off. So I'm sure there will be an opportunity, right? Surely Tottenham they'll know that everyone's looking for it. Son wants it as well.
Yep.
They'll have to set something up, won't they?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get done in January.
Yeah,
I reckon when the MLS is on a break for the season, I reckon there's a very good chance he could be coming back and do an interview with COYS during that time.
Do you remember there used to be, I don't know if they still do them, but there used to be like MLS players who used to come to the Premier League.
Donovan.
Donovan came for like a 2-month loan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like because it was during the MLS
Henry
break.
came back.
A few of them did. I think, if I remember rightly, I think Robbie Keane from LA Galaxy went on loan.
Yes,
somewhere.
he went to Villa.
Was it Villa on loan for just 1 or 2 months?
Yeah.
Could we see Sonny maybe on a little short-term loan for 2 months?
Well, there's the left winger.
Yeah, there he is.
Without spending money. Never say never in football.
Because he's on fire at the moment.
Never say never in football.
He's looking like a man with something lifted, a lot of kind of baggage lifted from him. He's looking freer.
Yep.
He's looking happier at the moment. Clearly, at the end of his Spurs tenure, for whatever reason, he knew he was leaving. He knew like his journey was coming to an end, and that was weighing on him. He didn't seem like a happy figure near the end. And he seems like a breath of fresh air. But could he come back to Tottenham potentially on a short-term loan deal, and maybe with this newfound kind of energy, maybe be a much better player and give us something for a couple of months?
never say never in football, but I can't see. I can see him coming back to do an interview and saying goodbye properly. I can't see him putting the Spurs shirt on again. Not saying that I wouldn't want to. He's looking a lot better in America, but obviously we have to know the league is a lot lesser quality, and obviously he's got a different lifestyle now in LA. He's got the sunshine, he's got everything, but he is doing well in America. He is he's always smiling, isn't he? But I can see a goodbye interview, not a goodbye I put the Spurs shirt on again.
They should set up a friendly or something for him. That would be nice.
Well, we did it with Bayern Munich, didn't we?
Yeah, but they should set up a mid-season friendly or even a Legends game. Imagine Sonny leading out a Legends game.
Well, the thing is, when they did that with Harry Kane and all these ones that they've done it, there hasn't been a World Cup.
Yeah. So
that's going to put a kibosh on any kind of friendly, like big friendlies like that this year.
Be careful, yeah.
So you never know. Maybe the summer after or whatever. But I think we'll see him back on the halfway line, or not in the area that COYS does his halftime interviews sometime in January.
A bit like we did with Lloris.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right about that. Last story as well. Spurs have announced a partnership with Sports Illustrated to become... They announced a 12-year partnership with Sports Illustrated to become the official fan experience partners. They said as part of a new agreement, Sports Illustrated, the storied sports media brand, will become an inaugural member of the Collective, our new sponsorship program designed to deliver bespoke activations to every stand at the Tottenham Stadium. This is the first of its kind collaboration, Sports Illustrated will bring its celebrated heritage to the stadium's East Stand, creating an immersive hub that showcases Tottenham's rich history, the passion of its supporters, and unforgettable moments from across the sporting world. This includes the launch of Defining Moments in the coming months, a curated storytelling experience that draws on years of Sports Illustrated's award-winning covers, stories, photography, and more. Located through the East Stand, in both premium and general admission areas, the experience will feature dynamic displays, wallscapes, portraits, and interactive exhibits, enabling fans to relive iconic moments from the club's history, as well as from wider world of sport. Each defining moment installations will be equipped with a QR code enabling fans to unlock exclusive digital content, behind the scenes stories, and special rewards via mobile devices. Fans will also have the opportunity to receive custom magazine covers and special offers through the partnership. In addition to 3,000 capacity club, SI will debut in the stadium. A 3,000 capacity club SI will debut in the stadium's East Premium area, enhancing hospitality. Okay, we don't need to know about hospitality. Blah, blah, blah. So that's more about David Lane, CEO of Sports Illustrated, has said the partnership with Spurs is amongst the most significant milestones for Sports Illustrated to date. Since 1882, Tottenham Hotspur has been one of the most storied clubs in the world, and its passionate fans and world-class stadium align perfectly with Sports Illustrated as we continue to expand globally. Together, we're excited to offer Spurs fans an enhanced experience that honours the club's heritage as only a Sports Illustrated company can. We're thrilled to debut the first member of the Collective to help shape a new era for sports partnerships. And Ryan Norrie, Chief Revenue Officer at Tottenham, have said partnering Sports Illustrated is an incredible opportunity to bring passion, energy and stories that make this club so special to life in new and engaging ways for fans across the globe and in the stadium for match days. I mean, I wonder what that's going to look like. I mean, it sounds fairly interesting. It comes off the back, interesting enough, of the Trust putting out a poll saying... let me get it up. Let me just get this poll up because they tweeted out today results of a poll saying only 38% of fans feel the club celebrates our history properly. So off the back of that, Spurs, well, I mean, it's not off the back of that. I think it was kind of coincidentally, Spurs have announced this partnership with Sports Illustrated to create an immersive experience to celebrate the history of the club. Do you are you excited about something like this? Maybe being at the stadium. Do you think this is something maybe that can enhance match going experience potentially?
Well, a few things. So first of all, one of my main or three pillars of being Levy out was exactly what was mentioned in that survey about the club not paying enough respect and honouring and bringing up the history that this club has got. Now, that what you just read sounds a lot better than Squid Games, doesn't it? Which had no connection to this football club whatsoever. It was like, what is this? This is a money grab, whatever. I totally get that. I would love to experience that. I'd love to see what they do about the history of the club and these immersive things. Don't know how they do it or whatever, but Sports Illustrated is a big deal. It's a well-respected and massive player in the magazine and industry in North America and worldwide. So I think this is great things that you want to hear, that where a new sponsorship has come in, but it's directly to do with the club and respecting the history and being more engaging with the fans. This has got a lot to do with Vinay, and you remember the guy he's just appointed to be, what was his title, the new guy they just brought in?
Charrington?
No, not Charrington. Vinay's brought someone on board. I can't remember what his name is.
Oh, okay.
But they brought on a player for these kind of things. And it's good to see things like this where it is to do with Tottenham. Yes, it's more revenue coming in, which is always a good thing now. What we need to see is that reflected on who we buy in the transfer market and how.
Just to be clear, it's not a sponsorship; it's a partnership.
Partnership. It's interesting, but it's good to see that one's come in, and it's heavily regarding the history of Tottenham Hotspur.
I like the fact they're creating initiatives surrounding the history of the club and looking to look, because at the end of the day, when new fans come in, it's. Sometimes when you go to games, you see things like on the wall and whatever. And I know at the moment you go to the stand when I'm sitting in the south, and there's all the match day programs and stuff plastered over all, and that's cool. But as a young kid, sometimes you see an old goal and you learn about the history about. You see Gaz's old free kick. You see it, and then you ask your dad, "Oh, what goal was that?" And he'll tell you, "Oh, that was in '91, a very famous goal." Things like that. So I really hope, they're bringing kind of our history and old experiences and all this kind of stuff, and they bring them to life, and it gets younger fans engaged in it. Maybe has an opportunity for older fans to relive those experiences somehow. I don't know. I don't exactly know what they're planning, but I agree with you. This isn't Spurs teaming up with Netflix to launch a Squid Games thing. It's Spurs teaming up with Sports Illustrated to display our history and have an immersive experience. And obviously. This is all for money, of course, but as long as it's surrounding Tottenham and it's bringing our history to light and that Tottenham being at the forefront, you can only be happy and excited about that part of it, and that's going to be very interesting. Look, I wonder what it's going to look like. They've announced a 12-year partnership. So this is not a very short. This is a short-term thing. This is the thing they've clearly been planning for a while, and they've clearly got big ideas about what they want, and I think. There is so much you can do. I feel Tottenham very much like Levy. They're very much stuck still in we've said it before in early 2000s. There's so much technology within the experience of match days which you can enhance in this day and age, which we don't do, which we neglect. I think there's so much Spurs can be doing. To enhance the history of the club and enhance the match-going experience. And I think this is a really good step towards it, I hope.
It is, and again, well done. So I've commented recently, since the arrival of Vinay, Spurs' media work and fan engagement is night and day to what it used to be. I am loving the Spurs Weekly videos that come out on YouTube and on Spurs' website that are going really into the club. And like when they saw with the what's his name, Frank's analyst, I can't remember his name, but they've done it's been it's a real insight to what goes on behind the scenes and interviews with players. They have upped their game big time. Social media, they have upped their game big time. Fan engagement, as we saw with Europa League success with the flag, THFC flags, return of the shelf, and Spurs song sheet being used and utilised. And now they're doing something like this where, like I said, the match day going fans, and there are a lot of young families that go with kids that would not have seen certain moments. And hopefully they can show, as we were discussing yesterday, why the FA Cup is so important to me. Because we have a very, very, very rich history as a football club. And I think a lot of people, especially the modern day fan that's a lot younger and wouldn't have witnessed it or heard about it, will learn a lot more about this football club and see why we love it so dearly.
All right, well, that is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below anything we discussed today and your thoughts on all the stories we have brought to you. But that is your Tottenham update.